Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Daehan podcast. This is episode 4. Just as episode 3, I have a very special guest on today, a true workout warrior, personal trainer, completely shredded, very knowledgeable, but humble as he can be. My man, Sidi, welcome, and thanks for coming on to the podcast.
Oh, thank you, man. We've been on Instagram together for a little while, following each other. So I know you're a great person. So it's good to finally be able to talk to you.
Yes, yes. So our connection comes from Instagram, and we had some conversations on and off. But what
Yeah,
blew me away was that learning from you today that you're only 21, man. Like it's pretty
yeah,
remarkable. You're so young, but yet so mature, so knowledgeable. Again, like I said, with lifting, working out, and all that good stuff, but also in life. So I want to take the audience all the way back to your starting point. What was the first time or moment that started lifting and started getting into this and starting your journey?
yeah. I started, you know, typical $10 membership at Planet Fitness.
Yep.
I literally just went in there. I kind of wanted to use it as an escape, to get stronger, but then I really didn't know what I was doing. So I was just in the gym working out. And then all of a sudden I started seeing progress, even though I didn't know what I was doing. Once I started seeing progress, I started doing research, started planning out my workouts. And then after that, it was just a drive that really came about where I wanted to help people because, if I could do it, then why can't I, help other people do it? And especially because I did have one friend that I was actually working out with, um, and he was like on and off with his weight. So like he would like one time he lost a whole bunch of weight, and then he fell back into that, you know, into gaining all of that weight back. So it all started with him,
Mm.
So I helped him, lose a couple of pounds, and then I was like, you know what, let me just take this further.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you sure it wasn't to impress the ladies or anything like that?
Nah, no. I mean, at a younger age, of course,
Yeah.
you think about things like that, but
Mhm.
as you grow older, that kind of fades away, become
Yeah.
more mature. Yeah.
No, I 100% agree. And I think that's kind of similar to where I kind of started my journey. It was a self journey, right? You start the development on yourself, whether it's working out, lifting, getting stronger, and building the muscle, or losing your fat and kind of having that
Yeah.
fat loss journey. But within that, you find that spark, that interest for
Yeah.
self development, and it's really more than that. It's not just growing muscles or become
Exactly.
skinnier. There's like a mental aspect to it,
Yeah.
you know. So I
100%.
mean, yeah, if you can speak upon that. You said there was like a moment where you started, like you like seeing the progress that you're seeing, and physically and mentally. So if you can
Yeah.
speak a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I definitely do think it definitely it's all a mental thing. A lot of things that we go through is definitely mental. Like while I'm working out, I really like push myself. Like the way that I'm pushing myself now, whenever I hit the gym, it's like, I'm just like I'm thinking to myself, like, I have to keep pushing through. I'm working towards a goal, so why am I gonna stop? What am I gonna cry about? It's all mental. Like it's gonna hurt in that moment, but once you're done, you're gonna feel good about it. So you just have to keep going. That's ultimately what I was telling myself back then when I first started. Um, and yeah,
Would you say your approach or your mindset that you just talked about is different than when you first started?
yeah, completely different. I feel like I've grown immensely. Like my mentality is like on a straightforward path to really where I want to be at in life. And I feel like it's not good to think that way most of the time, but I feel like if I'm not working towards my goals, then I'm wasting time because we only like we say all the time, we only have one life, and it's true. You literally only have one life, and it can be taken at any moment. So why are you wasting time not doing what you love?
Mhm.
So I feel like that's very important.
No, absolutely. And the one commodity that we can't get back is our time, right? And that
Exactly.
is very precious. And it's pretty remarkable how through your workout journey and kind of finding your personal development and bettering yourself, you were able to find all this like key life lessons that you really learn over time, but through exercising, through pushing yourself in the gym, outside, just
Yep.
doing intense, hard things, you're able to figure this out. So is this something that you would recommend, not with just your clients, but just people on Instagram, like the content that you promote? Is this one of the main takeaways that you also teach your clients in addition to working out?
Um, yeah, for sure. So when it comes to my clients, when I'm training my clients, I always like talk. I talk to them. When I was younger, like I was always the quiet kid because I never knew how to like keep a conversation.
Hmm.
Like it was like the most difficult thing to me. And then when I started working at the gym that I'm working at now, it's like I have conversations with hundreds of different people, and then like I remember their names, I remember I remember where they work and all this. Like we talk about personal things. So like once you like really get comfortable with a person, they really start to trust you and what you do for them,
Right.
and it really opens up their mindset because they know like they have someone that they can trust. They're even though that they're paying you, they just know that you can help them reach their goals. And then once they start reaching their goals, they just feel they feel really good about themselves. And then I push them to reach another goal. And it's like, let's just keep going. Let's build your strength. Let's try something different this time. Let's not focus on just one thing. Let's move on to something different, bigger and better things to keep growing, not just physically, but also mentally.
Yeah. I certainly agree 100% on that. Even with like the clients I do, like it all starts that way. Like,
Yep.
whether it's, weight loss or what have you, I think there is a mental aspect of it. And then you build that relationship, that trust. And once that trust is there, they really start making a lot of breakthroughs because they know
Yep.
that you really have great interest, not just money wise, but like obviously it's
Exactly.
client and coach relationship, but it becomes a lot more than that. It involves something more than that, and then when they have that trust, they start really excelling. They really listen. They really start believing in the program and you and that relationship. So I completely agree there, but
Yeah.
looking at your Instagram, you first started as the skinny guy and then now
Yeah.
you're just bulking up. And that's not a slight to you, but I mean it's actually a testament to all your hard work,
Yeah.
but to where you started to obviously you're continuing to grow. That process doesn't stop, but when you first started, you were, a little bit weak, and then now you're just becoming this, monster, this Hulk. Obviously, you're gonna continue to improve, but just can you talk about that transition journey to that, and also what made you kind of get into the personal training, and was it just like an epiphany, or like what, I really want to help others, and I'm just gonna jump into personal training?
Yes. So I mean the working out part, I would say is I used to get called skinny a lot. It never at a certain point in life it stopped bothering me because I'm just like, people will say what they want to say.
All right.
Um, but because even when I wear a t-shirt, sometimes it looks like I'm still, very skinny because I'm tall.
Yeah.
So, it happens. But with personal training, that really started out when I kind of figured out that I wanted to work for myself.
Mm.
So at the end of high school, or towards the end of high school, when we were all applying for colleges, um, I was thinking of actually going to trade school, like for something else, like maybe to be an electrician or work in construction. But I was just like, you know what? Let me just go to college and see, just get the experience. So I went for a year and a half for business management, um, and that's when I started to realize like I don't need this because everything that I learned in that first year and a half, literally I learned in high school. So I was just going through it like it was nothing. And then I was also taking classes that didn't even matter. I was just like, forget this. Dropped out. Yeah, dropped out, and then I went to a school for personal training. It was the school here in Philadelphia. It's called National Personal Training Institute.
Hmm.
So I went there for 6 months, and this was actually at the start of COVID. So went there for 6 months, and now I'm here starting as a trainer. Yep.
Man, that's pretty remarkable, and
Yeah.
to have that belief in oneself. I know everyone the kind of traditional path of trajectory is high school, college, graduate, get a safe and good job,
Yeah.
and then you start your life and like kind of like you go and then it ends, right? To be so young and to be in college your freshman year, what basically doing what everyone else is doing, but then have that sort of conscious voice saying, man, this is not you, man. This is not it. Like,
Yeah.
let's go find something else that you're truly passionate about. Like, what trigger or what that voice, what was it, that message that was in your head? Like, hey, let's go do something else. And what made you like, because sometimes it's hard to really pull the trigger and
Yeah.
to go do it. So did it take quite a bit of courage? Maybe you got some pushback from your family members or your friends. They'd be like, hey man, just stay in college and see it through. Or did you have some of
Oh
that?
yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah. My parents, they wanted me to stay. They were like, just keep taking out loans. You'll, just finish school. And I wasn't having it. Like by the time I was done that like last semester, like the last 2 weeks, I just like stopped doing the work. Stopped. I didn't even take any finals or anything. So I was just like, I'm done. But um, that first year of college, I was just like, you know what? Let me just. I guess I was just like, let me just be like everybody else. Let me, enjoy college, party, whatever. And then
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna say I regret it because things happen for a reason.
Yep.
So, but it was kind of a waste of time though for me, honestly, because it truly wasn't what I wanted to do. And like the people there are, you know, they obviously they want to reach their goals or whatever, going through school, but they were also in a very they didn't have like the mindset of, I want to do my own thing. They're just gonna
Right.
follow the program, the usual program of just going to school and then, getting that degree and then finding a job. And then I did meet some people that were actually, in that entrepreneur mindset. For example, my girlfriend we actually met at like a college party or like an after party or whatever. But
Mhm.
she's she's an entrepreneur. She has her own business now. She's
Wow.
making her own money. She also dropped out of college, so we kind of found our way by just being ourselves and then taking that risk of not just following the normal life of the normal life that we see here in the United States of just going to school and following that that regular routine.
I think it should be more promoted and talked about because it is okay, especially with the tools we have now, like the social media, the internet.
Yep,
You have you have the resources to be able to promote yourself, market yourself, and make yourself a valuable commodity and
yep,
asset. And that's what you want to do to be able to bring in that income while doing something you're truly passionate about.
exactly.
That's pretty remarkable that you and your girlfriend were able to find one another and start building the business out. And to that point, what prompted you to get on social media and start branding yourself, start creating this amazing page on Instagram, and then that's how I met you and started posting
Yeah,
these great motivational but also workout content.
yes. So I was just I think I was out one night with like some friends getting dinner, and I was just telling them how I really wanted to start something because it was one of my other friends that is also she's also an entrepreneur now. She has her own business called 1010 Cosmetics, so she does her own
Shout
thing.
out, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to Angel. Yeah. Um, so yeah, basically, she was doing her own thing, and then I wanted to do my own thing. So that's when I created the name Motivation Made Fitness. I just created an Instagram page, and then just started posting fitness content. At first, like when I actually started posting content, it was just somebody recording me. Then I was always I was just always in the gym like almost every day. So, and not everybody, not or any of my friends would come to the gym with me. So
Mhm.
I bought a tripod and I was just recording myself. At first it was a little nerve wracking because everybody's looking at you, but
Mhm.
now it's like it's nothing. Like I just have my tripod out recording myself and like people still stare, but It doesn't
Yeah.
bother me anymore. It's like second nature now.
So what was the starting out phase? Was it, like, oh man, I don't know what to do on Instagram. Like, how do you make a business account to personal account? Like, there's a lot of things you do. How was that,
Yeah,
startup process of even just recording yourself? And then after you record yourself, there's an editing process that people I'm sure
right.
know about, but they might not know how hard it is and time consuming it is,
Exactly.
or it can be. So can you just kind of touch upon that, like that learning curve while you first
Yeah.
started?
Yeah, so when I first started, I just started posting like videos. I didn't edit them or anything because I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
I was just putting out content, and then um after that I realized, like, after looking at all these other fitness pages, I was like, oh snap, they're using hashtags and all of these different things. They're editing their videos, they're making it look so good. I still didn't know how to do that, but I just, you know, did the simple things of just, putting out hashtags and then also posting consistently, um, trying to get good captions, certain videos. But my posts were just so random at that time. I was just posting anything and everything.
Yeah, I can definitely relate. When I was first starting, I think I was on the camp of like, oh, I need to make it perfect. I need to do all my research, but that actually hindered me from actually posting, like,
Right.
making a post. So I was like, I need to make it perfect. I need to have the right hashtags. But I think that took me away from the quality of content and all that good stuff. Like, what
Yes,
good does it do if you have all the right hashtags, but if your content is crap? Like, there's no value that I'm bringing to the users of Instagram or social media. So I can
exactly.
definitely relate there. But with all this work that you're putting in, now your priority is different, your goal is different, you have different targets in mind that may differ from a lot of your friends now. So could you maybe talk about a couple positives and also the negatives of becoming an entrepreneur, doing something for yourself, and maybe not going the route that everyone else is going, and maybe how
Yeah.
that could separate you from your childhood friends? And sometimes it just happens to be like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, so when you get into this, new life of being, an entrepreneur and just working towards your own goals and being your own boss, a lot of people are going to fall off, especially because you'll start to realize that these people are holding you back. And that means, going out every night and just doing things that waste time. Like of course you can have fun, like especially if you're young. It's always good to have fun, enjoy yourself. But then there are times where you have to, focus up and then realize, are these people do these people have the same mindset as me? Because if they don't, then they're gonna pull you back, whether you realize it or not. They're gonna pull you back, and it's kind of like it's toxic. So, like,
Right.
how people are in toxic relationships. It's like for example, human beings. The reason why, you know, women and men, they're like in a toxic relationship, and then the
Hmm.
woman never leaves, is because they get that it's a feeling that they get that arouses them, and that's why they
Hmm.
continue to go back and go back. But you have to have that mindset, a very strong mindset of pulling away from it, because at the end of the day, you know where you want to be in life. So just stick with that. Just stick with what you want to do. Not don't worry about somebody else's feelings,
Yeah.
because those people are going to hold you back. And it also a big factor with that too is your, family members are yeah, family members basically. Like,
Right.
they're very toxic too, because, like, for example, when I was just saying with my parents, they wanted me to continue to go to college, but I was like, no. I told them no. I'm doing what I want to do in life. I only have one life. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna follow the life that you want me to live. And I also got that from, Gary
Yeah. Gary
Vaynerchuk.
Vee. Yeah. Yeah.
I used to listen to him like nonstop, his podcast, like, because he's like so assertive, and he tells you straight up, like, there's nothing, like, he doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he's
Hmm.
just gonna tell you straight up, like tell your parents no, like
Yeah.
like, you want to do what you want to do, like, and school does fail entrepreneurs, just like he said.
Yeah.
They fail entrepreneurs because it's not built for an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So if you're an entrepreneur, you have to be an entrepreneur. School won't do it for you unless you need a certain degree for what you want to do. or
Right.
if you need a certain certificate or anything like that. Like for example, for me, I needed a training certificate, so that's what I want to get.
No, I 100% agree. I think there's a time and a place, and if your career trajectory is like a doctor or a cert or like a lawyer, and you need to get the education for your career path and for your dream, by
Yeah,
all means, we're not here to bash that.
exactly. Which I
But for
respect.
the entrepreneurs who want to do something that for themselves, and that doesn't include a degree of some sort, you don't need that. I don't think a college route is for you, and that's okay. I don't think everyone should take the college route.
Yeah,
So there's absolutely, I 100% agree there. And also to Gary V's point, I think especially a lot of the
yeah,
social media content creators, they're very familiar with Gary V and his message to the young folks who really want to make it. You doing what they love, and his
right.
message to hopefully best summarize to the young audience is it's better to talk to your parents about what you want and what you want to do now versus 40 years later and you have all this pent up regret. Now you're
Yeah,
56-year old and you're still doing like a desk job or whatever job that you're not satisfied with.
yeah,
And now you're regretting to your parents. You have that resentment towards your parents saying, why did you make me do this? I wanted to become
exactly,
I wanted to open a restaurant, or I wanted to open a gym. I wanted to do this, or I want to have a travel company, but I'm stuck doing this. So I
exactly.
think he does have a point there. Obviously, he's not saying have a bad relationship with your parents, but just to talk to your parents and have that communication of what you truly want to do, and things along those lines. So I think that's a
Yeah,
very, very good thing. And I want to go back to your point because you're a 21-year-old guy, but you're talking as if you're a 75-year-old man with great wisdom and knowledge. So
thank
I
you.
wanted to ask you: is there a certain have you been getting into books? Are there certain books that you've been reading, or just was it the knowledge and wisdom and life lessons have you been gaining from through personal development, through working out? Are there certain things you can point to that says, yeah, these are some good resources that help me and that have opened my mindset?
Um, so I mean, the thing with me is I think it all really started with just like I'm just trying to figure out why certain things work the way that they did.
Mm-hmm.
So I was always curious, like just very curious about how the world worked, and that's where it really all started. Like how, like why are we doing certain things? Like why do we have to live a life where we just have to work for the rest of our lives? And so I just did random research on multiple things. I'm not a big reader, which might be a surprise, but it's because I just usually don't have the time. But I like when I was younger, of course, I read a lot of books. Um, but yeah, I think it's mainly because of just being curious and just always being open minded. Like um I never bashed anybody for how they thought about things. I always listen to people and try to understand why they think a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
because it's important to listen to other people. And I don't mean and I definitely don't mean in a social media way, because social media there are way too many different opinions, and people just love to follow a certain group of people. Like if somebody's bashing somebody, like everyone else will then continue to bash that person, and I
Yeah.
don't like that. But in person, like when you're talking to somebody and actually listening to their conversations, their life story, it's a completely different ball game. And then also being around different types of people. Like in high school, my one of my he was my teacher, Spanish teacher, and also a coach. He taught me a lot. Like, and he probably, I mean, he knows obviously because he's a very intelligent man, but um, he taught me a lot, become like being grown as a man, and then also when I was on that basketball team while he was coaching, like you could tell the difference between me and the other kids that were on the team. Their
Right.
mindset was completely gone, like somewhere else, because of the issues that they were dealing with at home. And then of course I was dealing with issues too, but I took it as I didn't. Well, I took it as like a way to like get out of it,
Hmm.
so because playing basketball or playing any sport really just took me out of that difficulty of being at home or not being able to do certain things.
Right. No, I 100% agree. And again, I think you bring up a great point. Especially on social media, it's so like quick to, almost be in groups and separations. I don't, segregations almost, right? Like, I'm in
Yeah,
this camp, I'm in that camp, and you're wrong, I'm
exactly.
right. And it's very powerful, especially on Twitter, Instagram, and all these different platforms.
Yeah,
And as you're my first health, guru, workout guru, so I got to ask you some of the popular health and nutrition workout questions that they talk about on the social media platform. So
yeah,
one of the things I always are curious about, and it interests me because people are so almost cult like when it comes to diets. They're like,
yeah.
no, I'm in the vegan camp. I'm in the only meat camp. I'm in the low carb, high carb camp. So, what do you think about that kind of trend? And now it's just becoming this diet, I don't know, religious groups that we have now. What do you think about that movement?
um, so when I first started training and then I started hearing about all these things, like it confused me. I was like, wait, what are you guys talking about? Like, what is what are all these groups? So,
Yeah.
like, of course, I did my research on them, and I was just like, I guess,
Mhm.
it works, But then when I started meeting other trainers, like actual like really good trainers, like when I started meeting them, like for example, one of my coworkers now, Michael, he's a very intelligent man. Like he basically broke it down and just told me about how everything works. It's really all about the money for these people, and that's the
Right.
reason why all of these groups just popped up out of nowhere, because it's about the money. But fitness and diet is really it's it's more simple than we think it is. It's way more simple than we think it is. Like we don't really need all of these groups, like unless certain people have like complications in their bodies, and they can't have carbs or something like that, which most clients have. But if you're normal, like you don't need to cut out carbs completely out of your life. Literally, like you can continue to eat what you want, but you just have to limit it. Do you believe in calorie deficit?
I do, but
Yeah, yeah, to a
also
certain extent.
yeah, to a certain extent,
Yeah,
I'm not a big component of, there's some people on Instagram and in personal trainers like, oh, with calories is the only thing that matters. I
yeah,
don't think human
yeah,
body is just a math equation where our bodies
right,
are so intelligent. There's hormones, there's metabolic
exactly.
rate, there's so many different things going on. And obviously, and to your point, right, you got to do the research. Like if you don't
Yeah,
do the research, yeah, calorie deficit makes sense, but there's been plenty of studies done where they just restrict calories, but your body actually adapts to that and it doesn't let go of the fat. So
yeah,
you're not really doing anything. And
exactly.
the what is the show? The Biggest Loser. That's why a lot of
Yeah,
the contestants on there they dropped the weight, but then they bring it all back because their lifestyle
exactly.
didn't change. All their metabolic rates didn't change. So I understand where the calorie deficit point is, but that is not the end all be all.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I think there's definitely, factors in it too. Like for example, when at the gym that I work at now at F45, like we do 45-day challenges. So a 6-week challenge. We're broken down. Some of the members are broken down into certain teams with specific coaches. We have one-on-one calls with them. We talk about, their macros and what specifically, like what they're supposed to be doing, specifically. And, we break it down to them in a way that they can understand. We do the research, we do the work for them so they can, like actually understand it. Because when you just tell somebody like just just lower your eat less calories, you'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
That's not gonna help them,
Yeah.
especially if you don't know what they're eating, if you don't know if they're getting their protein in or anything like that. It shouldn't work like that.
Yeah, and it's quite funny because like people just say, "Oh, just lower your calories." Like if that if that advice worked, and no one in America would be obese because we've been saying
Exactly.
that for years, and we
Exactly.
still have an over obesity problem. It's still
Yeah.
ongoing. So clearly that's not
Continuously.
working.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just baffles me that people still to this day, especially people who claim to be Instagram or YouTube, like health
Yeah.
people, like I'm gonna help you to lose weight. I understand that I mean, there at a certain point you have to eat less, but there are more components to it, and it's not just adding up calories in a calculator. Oh, I know I'm gonna lose a pound this week because I did this.
Right.
There are so many factors to it, and your body is too smart. It's not just going to, okay, I have 1,002 calories. Oh, I'm gonna gain 2 pounds. It's
Yeah,
not gonna be
exactly.
like
It's
that.
not,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not gonna be
yeah,
like that.
yeah. And also, just a quick shout out: if you guys have a F45 near your area, make sure you tell the boss that CD sent you for the personal
Yeah,
training.
from F45 training at Bala Kenwood.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Make sure you do
Yeah.
a quick shout out for that.
Yeah.
Um, and also, I want to get into if especially with COVID, I know people were not able to have a lot of access to gyms and things like that.
Yeah.
How was your transition of working out and then the COVID and then becoming a personal trainer and then just kind of the COVID timeline of all
Yes.
this?
So I think so in the beginning of COVID, that's when I started personal training school. And then I was kind of in a rough time because the personal training school, it was gonna be hands on. Like we were actually gonna meet in person, but then we had to do everything online
Mm-hmm.
for those whole 6 months. But luckily I had a great teacher. So that wasn't an issue. Um, and as time was going on, like it was getting difficult because I was working at a job that I didn't want to work at. I was like sad, like I don't know, life was kind of it was very very weird. Like like
Mm-hmm.
I was still recording videos every day, putting out content. I did like a 30-day challenge or whatever, but it still wasn't, I was trying to make myself feel better somehow, some way, but it still
Yeah.
wasn't working. I didn't have a gym to like actually have a great workout. But in all honesty, you don't really need a gym. Um, you just have to find that motivation. But I think it was mainly because of the other factors in my life that kind of took me away from that. But then once the year started going on, um, I just took bigger risks. I started taking bigger steps into life. So I think it was in October. Once I finished and graduated and got my certificate, I applied for the F45 job, and that was actually the first personal training job that I got. Um, and then yeah, and then in the beginning of this year, I wanted to get more one-on-one experience because F45 is like group training. So I applied to Crunch Fitness, which is near me, because I just wanted to do one-on-one training, get more experience. So I got the experience under my belt for that. So now I'm able to quit that job, which I have done already. I just
Mm-hmm.
have one more week, and then now I'm gonna do full time, and then train my own private clients.
Mm.
Yeah,
Man on a mission.
yeah, man.
Hey, it's very very nice to hear all what you're doing and just how goal oriented you are. But as a great trainer now, with all the experiences, obviously you're going to become better and better as you grow in your career. But while becoming a personal trainer, have you learned some intricacies of what kind of makes a bad personal trainer and versus a good personal trainer? Now, I'm not saying anyone is a bad personal trainer by any
Yeah.
means, but some, if I say, let's say, for example, I'm a client and I'm coming in, what are some good indicators that say, okay, this personal trainer, you should probably work with him because he or she is like, they know their stuff. Like, what are good key details that a client can be able to pick up on to show them that?
So one main thing. So when a personal trainer is talking to you or explaining a workout, they should really be able to explain the workout. If they're just telling you to do a workout,
Right.
then they probably don't know specifically what's going on in the body. Like usually when I talk to my clients, like for example, like when they're doing a Romanian deadlift with dumbbells, right? I'm telling them, you want to hinge at the hips, you want to have a slight arch in your back, keeping your body nice and parallel, slight bend in the knees. You should really feel this in this part of your body, your
Right.
hamstrings. If if a personal trainer isn't doing that for you, I feel like that I wouldn't say, they're a bad trainer because most people would know what that is. But I feel like you should always be able to reiterate these types of things to your clients so they know what what's being worked on, what muscles are being worked. You should always let them know about that. And then also, um, yeah, I don't know. This me when I first started, like it was kind of it wasn't nerve wracking or anything,
Mm-hmm.
but like because I've been doing it for years. Like I haven't been training for years, but like I already knew a lot about the body,
Right,
so
right.
it was just like secondhand nature after that.
So I want to ask you about that. Like, I'm kind of similar in that way. There's like years of experience of doing
Yeah,
sports, working out, and working on myself. And I knew the
right.
knowledge of what muscle is doing this and what exercise is good for this and how to lose weight here and how to gain muscle here. Um, what was your first client like? Because you know how to do it yourself. Now
Right.
you are getting actually paid to help someone. How was the first client experience and working with that person in your first workout?
Yeah. So, I my first client, like personal client at Crunch Fitness, was actually like a middle-aged woman, which I actually just trained her today actually. So
Oh,
she's
really?
been with me. Yeah, she's been with me for a
Since day
while
one.
now. Yeah, exactly. And we were actually just talking about how much progress she's made. So when I first started, it was kind of weird because I had to, figure out you know, um, how to, write out a specific program for her and then, track her progress. But it's honestly been amazing because since the start, we started with, specific weights, like very light weights. And then now she's like lifting heavier and like
Mhm.
she feels much better, like she's stronger, she's more energized. Like when you know that that's happening because you've been able to help that person to do that, like it feels really good. And then another one of my clients, he was actually my second client there. His progression was like amazing. Like um, his goal was to cut down on weight, but then as we kept on going, the he just became stronger and wanted to lift more weights, and like his strength is just continues to grow immensely.
Yeah, yeah, and that's pretty amazing and a testament to what the quality of personal trainer you are to
Yeah,
be able to have the first client and to be working with her still, right? I mean, that's how
yeah,
much she trusts in you and that
yep,
relationship that you build, and of course the second client as well. So your client retention rate is pretty darn strong, man.
yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Not only to pick on the personal trainer. So from a client perspective, it's COVID, maybe you got a little bit out of shape. You got the pandemic 15. If you don't know what that means, go back to episode 1. You'll learn what that is. But so you got some weight on you now, or you always had some weight and you want to lose it. I'm coming in. What is one thing a client should know even before they step through the doors of a gym and they're looking for a personal trainer? What should they know, or what should they have knowing before they come into the gym to start working out or losing weight or gaining muscle?
So I would say 100% just make sure you have a goal for yourself. Like set a goal for yourself. Make sure that you know it. You have it in your head, and then write it down, reiterate that goal. But then also, you have to just do it because some people they'll think about it, but they won't ever go and actually do it.
Yeah.
If somebody is coming out of COVID and actually wants to like just get back into the gym, which most people have, like they're able to get themselves back up and just like okay, it's time to get back onto better things in life. Then that's great. But for people that are like struggling to like actually get themselves up and, to go to the gym, I like really just want you to know that you can progress, but you just have to get yourself to go.
Hmm.
You just have to remember that it's all in the mind. That's all
Right.
it is.
Right. So I think that's a great point you bring up because there's a starting point and then there's a point where you have to put in the work consistently.
Exactly.
And I think that's where a lot of the clients or just people who are just starting out fall off. And just to use your example, you started seeing a lot of progress and now you're continuing to make progress.
Yeah.
For people who maybe kind of fell off, sometimes they say, when are you bulk up? But but people who have gained some weight and they did the gym and then they kind of got off of it. What are some tricks or tools that people can use to be able to have a more consistent path of growth or fat loss or muscle growth? What is something that you use to be able to keep yourself consistent?
Yeah, I would say try something different. Like
Mm,
just do something different. Like with me, like it kind of happened to me before. Like I fell off a couple times, because I felt like I wasn't reaching my goal. I was just like, dang, I'm not, I'm just going to the gym for no reason. Like I don't see my muscles being, growing or anything. But then I changed a couple of things. I started eating more. I started, eating more protein. Then I started to see more of a difference. I started, doing different types of workouts. So, for example, like last Saturday, when I was one of my coworkers, and he he's a calisthenics type of guy, and
hmm
I've never done calisthenics before. So
hmm
once when I started it, like it was really difficult, and then like after that, like the day after, I was sore in so many different places, and I thought I was working out hard at the gym until I did that. So it was crazy, and then it made me realize like that's actually very important to be able to have a lot of strength in your own body, lifting yourself up, you know, because you can really use that in life if you're in an emergency or anything. It's it goes back to like the guys that like bodybuilders or power lifters. Like you can lift a lot of weights, but if you can't lift yourself, then it's kind of an issue. I think it's kind of important to be able to lift your own self, and like it kind of stuck to my brain after that workout. So I think this summer I might be moving a little bit more into calisthenics.
I
Yeah.
love that. And it shows how good of a personal trainer you are because you have to be open. You can't
Yes,
just be
have
good
to.
at, if you're a bodybuilder, personal trainer, you're a bodybuilder, personal trainer. I mean, obviously you want your niche, but you
Yeah,
want to be knowledgeable in a lot of the things that are coming up, especially in the health industry, workout industry, the diet industry. It's always coming up with new different things like the keto, the fasting, all these different things coming up. So you want to be
exactly.
knowledgeable. You want to be able to provide that good information to your clients. So you want to have an open mind to all these things. And I think calisthenics, especially when it comes to working out, you want to do a lot of different things. You just don't want to be stuck. Monday's bench, Tuesday squat. You don't want to just,
Exactly.
yeah, you don't want to be so
Exactly.
mundane because when you're mundane, life is just boring, right?
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
if you are very regimented in your schedule, I get it, but to be able to spice it up, to be able to have that different challenges and move your body in different positions, to be able to hit different muscle groups that you never hit before.
Yep.
My perspective on that is like if you like playing, basketball as your cardio, oh, by all means, you don't have to
Of
be on
course.
the
Yeah.
treadmill. Like how good of
Yep.
a workout is basketball, or if you enjoy boxing, if you enjoy jujitsu, I think you can utilize so many different activities, sports to be able to improve your body. And I think it just improves your mental state because you're not doing something so mundane every time. And I think that's applicable to diet as well. You don't want to just eat the classic bodybuilding diet, just chicken breast, broccoli, and some white rice, right? You don't want to have that
Exactly. Yeah.
every day. And, what kind of life is that? You want to be able to spice it up. You want to enjoy some meals that, you really enjoy. And of course, you continue to eat healthy. So I think that aspect is very applicable to working out, diet, and of course, life in general.
Yeah, yeah, I would say like for most people, they should just start like a new workout regimen or something new, like every 3 months. I think a 3 month period is a great like period to like, you know, start something like start a workout plan. That's why I actually when I was doing my workout plans for clients, like I only did 3 months because you know you can't have a workout regimen forever like
Yeah.
because then if your body is used to it your muscles are not going to grow after that.
Hmm.
You have to try something different, you have to hit different angles, you have to so it's very important to switch it up.
No, yeah, I agree. It's I think when you're first starting out, obviously you want to have a basis of knowledge and
Yeah,
form, and you want to get that down. But then as you get, months, years into working out and eating differently, you want to be able to have that freedom and flexibility to try different things and find different things that you really enjoy because
right.
sometimes that's what you got to do. And
Yep.
I really enjoy doing basketball, other sports, and of course
Nice.
lifting. But I think it evolved from just trying to look good, lifting and
Yeah.
all that to finding using exercise as your mental or my mental challenge, like
Yeah,
testing
exactly.
myself. I think it's more than just looking good anymore. It's not even like a benefit to working out for me anymore. I think a lot of people can relate to that. It's
Yeah.
like a mental challenge. And then when you work out so hard, your body happens to look good too, which is a
Yeah,
added
exactly.
perk. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and I saw like, on your stories and stuff, you would always post like, different types of workouts that you were doing. And I was like, yo, this is dope. And then like recently you were posting the deadlift with the boxing.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah. So like again, I enjoy boxing, and it's a great cardio exercise. So I would lift heavy deadlifts. Well, I mean, to me, it's a little bit heavier, but like like at 3 plates or what have you, I just lift it like five
yeah,
or six times, get some rest, and then hit the bags for a minute or
yeah.
two. And then just kind of switch it up. I know that's unorthodox. Maybe like
Oh yeah,
I
no.
am not, putting into
Yeah,
sciences of some super advanced scientific guys like, oh, that's super wrong,
I
like
know,
you're not
right?
going to get the
Yeah.
benefits. But here's what I would say: I don't give a fuck. I
Right,
just like doing what I want to
exactly.
do, right? Like,
Right.
I enjoy boxing, I enjoy deadlifting, so I put those together.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man. Yeah, exactly, exactly. It's just
yeah,
about what you love to do. You can never forget about that. Don't worry about what other people think.
completely agree. So
Yes,
I
sir.
want to go back to a client's mindset. So when they're first starting out, do you think the workout's the most important, or do you think the diet is the most important?
Oh, 100% diet.
Hmm.
Because the workout, you don't even have to worry about that because I'm the one who's gonna be helping you,
Yeah.
push yourself. So that I think the diet is 100% like the most important because when people like when you have a client and they go home, now it's under their control,
Yeah.
and some people they can't control themselves or they can't control how they eat. So it's like very difficult. And most of the time it's difficult for the trainer because like you're trying to help somebody out, but some people they won't listen, and then some people are 100% down to having like a solid diet. But I would say with the diet, people can't be too strict with themselves because if you restrict too many foods, you're it's not a great balance for your life or your mental health. Like
Hmm.
you're gonna go crazy trying
Yeah.
to trying to stop yourself from eating a freaking cookie. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna go crazy.
No, I agree because I was that guy.
Yeah.
Because I used to be like 300 pounds and I had to lose all that weight. So
Right.
my focus is like, oh, I cannot eat any of those junk foods or anything like that. And foods I used to love. But that gets you into a trap of like, go 2 weeks really clean, really like, what you want to do. And then you have one slip up and then you literally sweep in
Yeah.
all like junk food, candy, everything in sight. And then you feel so bad about yourself. And then you do that again. You go another 2 weeks really clean. You feel like, oh, I'm going to, do it. And then you have another slip up and it becomes a
Right.
vicious cycle. And that's how I kind of got into eating disorders and things like that. And it
Yeah.
was, yeah, pretty dark times, but I was able to kind of get out of that. But I think that's a very slippery slope. Anyone who's working out or trying to lose weight or gain muscle, like they can get into. And
Yeah,
those are some of the darker sides of losing weight that people don't really talk about. But I think it's very important that make sure that it is a thing and there are ways to combat that as well.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
100%. But I think mainly with clients, I think it should all start with their mentality. Um, I know for sure life gets difficult, and um but the one thing that like when that one that people should really do is like focus on their mentality, like I was saying. Like, for example, meditating. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a great way to just, relax your body, be in control and be in tune with yourself. Because remember, we are a soul in an entity, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you have to also realize that you're not just, the person that you are. You're like, you have a soul, so you have to clear your mind. You have to clear the emotions that you have. You have to sit down and really focus on what you want to do in life and what you want to be in life. And I feel like that's one of the biggest factors. Also, not
Mhm.
just being so, in tune with what's going on in the outside world. You have to be in tune with yourself. You have to, or you'll just be lost. You'll just be lost.
When you spend so much of your time consuming outside information, that becomes you. And
Exactly.
normally, the outside information, they will report on negative stuff more than good.
Yeah.
So if you
Yes.
think about that,
100%.
yeah, what is your mind really? What are you feeding your mind with? It's not the most important or positive things that you really want to read or listen to because that doesn't impact your day or your life in a positive way. So the way you talk about meditating, reading, having quiet moments of yourself in your thoughts alone, and being able to control that, I think it's very special tool and very helpful when you first start out. Whether it's your fat loss or muscle gain journey, it's very important to be able to do that.
Yes.
So a follow-up question would be, do you have your own, $1 million morning routine that you do to get your day off started in the right way?
I actually do not. Um, I mean, at least recently, I've tried it, but I just it's hard for me to have, like, a solid routine. So, and I think that's happened because, like, of being living in my parents' house, and that's why I'm kind of moving out now.
Hmm.
Trying to have my own space and my own quiet space. Um, but I think it all really starts with just you know just being yourself, and then just finding specific times that you can, meditate, and then figure out, how your day is gonna roll. But I do definitely believe in, like, scheduling, or writing down what you need to do in your day, not just
Hmm.
winging things, because
Yeah.
it's hard. Like, I've done that so much, like, and then
Yeah.
I would forget certain things. But I think definitely keeping track of what you're doing and how your progress is going should really help. And then just sitting down, like, say if you had a long week, just sit down at the end of the week, write down everything or just talk to somebody close to you, talk to them about how your week was. Like, just letting go of all of that, all of that tension
Mhm.
that's happened that week is really a great way to just relieve some stress. But I mean, some people, it works to have a morning routine,
Mhm.
wake up, meditate. But I definitely think it is helpful though. Like, I would love to, wake up in the morning, early in the morning, and just, like, go take a walk,
Yeah.
or stretch or do yoga in the morning, like, in the, while the sun is rising, like that I would love to do. But sometimes it's hard because I'm working all the time, and then I'm super tired when I wake up, and I have
Right.
clients in the morning. But I've recently, though, I've been waking up earlier, and I've been, like, sitting down, just, having time to myself, before I start my day. So
Yeah. people really overlook the lifestyle changes they need to make when they first go on the whatever this journey is, whether it's fat loss or
Yeah,
muscle. Like it's they overlook, you know, hydration, sleeping, like just rest, like all those different things. So what are some of the things that you go over with your clients to it's not just eating right and lifting, there are more aspects to it. So what are some of the things that you know you put an importance to with your clients, whether it's sleep or different things that maybe your client wasn't thinking about, but you know
yeah,
outside of working out and sleep or in eating.
yeah. Definitely sleep. Some some of my clients, like, you could tell, like, they would come in and, like, you could see it in their face, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "No, I didn't get any sleep." I'm like, "Why didn't you get any sleep? Like,
Mm,
you need sleep. You need at least, 7 to 8 hours of sleep."
yeah,
And then after that, they would realize it, and then they would actually start to get some sleep, and then they would come back, and then they're like, "Oh my God, thank you." I wasn't getting any sleep. I had to, cut down on certain things that I used to do. So
yep.
now I'm getting more sleep, and now I feel much better. So sleep is definitely very important. And then also, I would say, um, I'm not too sure. There are a couple other things though.
No, but I think sleep is very important. I didn't realize the importance of sleep until I read this book called "Why We Sleep" by Dr. Matthew Walker.
Hmm.
Incredible book, incredible book. I would highly recommend anyone to read that because once I completed reading that, or even as I was reading it, I was like, dude, like I completely changed my lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah, like it's pretty remarkable when you know the scientific facts and like the studies behind like what occurs in your body when you get even just 1 day of bad sleep and like how to get good sleep. Like what are some of the tricks?
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's pretty remarkable how when you don't get sleep, everything in your body starts like, you know, failing, starts doing bad things. Like it's everything bad occurs when you don't get sleep, but when you do get sleep, there's so many positives from it. There's not like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's nothing bad when you get good sleep. You know, there's
Exactly.
no like, yeah. So it's pretty remarkable how important sleep is and how overlooked it is, especially
Hmm.
with our phones and just so many things going on. People just, you know, overlook sleep and they just want to sleep, wake up and sleep less. It's pretty remarkable how, as a society, we got to that point. But I think you addressed this throughout the kind of theme of the podcast here, being intentional, setting goals, like that kind of mindset is what you need to have as you go in to better yourself. And I think that's very important. And you really highlighted that really well in key details throughout the podcast. So I appreciate that.
Thank
But
you.
as we wrap up the podcast, what are some of your aspirations? I know you're a very goal oriented person. You're very, you know, you're running towards a certain specific target. What is well, not end goal, but what are you continue? What is your next goal that you're striving for as of today?
Um, so as of today, since I am working full time at the job that I am now, um, it's I feel like, well, this is a new chapter for me, so I can actually, I'm making more money, so I can start to save up more money, invest more
Congratulations.
money. Thank you, thank you. Because at the end of the day, it's about being my own boss, right?
Right.
So I need that money, and I need those investments because eventually I want to open up my own, fitness studio.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So, and I want it to be called Motivation Made Fitness.
Hey,
It's a
hey, that's
big,
awesome.
and I've dreamed of it, and I've manifested it. So it's one of the biggest goals that I really want to reach. And then it'll start out with me, and then eventually I'll probably have other trainers just run the gym,
Hmm.
and then maybe expand.
Yeah.
But I also want to. This is just something outside of fitness. I also want to open up a restaurant.
Oh
I want to
wow.
own, yeah. I want to own property because I love food. I'm a foodie, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems like a
yeah,
lot of the gym folks are.
yeah, man. Yeah,
That's awesome. I love that. And especially for 21-year-old, you have your targets aligned. And obviously as life changes, things might move, but
Right.
The fact that you have your goals and you have some sort of vision of what you're running towards, and that's very, very important, because if you don't have a target to hit, like how would you know what to run after, or how would you know what
Exactly.
to work towards? So it's very important that you have a goal, have a target that you're working towards. And I know that social media is a great platform for you to be able to propel you to be closer to your goal. So just one maybe or two tips to young people or anyone out there that want to get on social media and start their journey of pursuing a life for their entrepreneurship, or doing something that they truly love. What are some tips that you would advise them?
So I would say just get just get started. Like if you have a passion and you want to show people, just go straight into it. Like start off with Instagram or whatever social media platform you use. Um, and start following other pages that have those similar things that you do, or do the same things that you do, and then you'll get inspiration from them, like just like how I
Right.
did. Like I got inspiration from a lot of these fitness guys.
Hmm.
Um but even then, when I got inspiration from them, that was when I was younger. Now I don't really get inspired by them because they all kind of do the same thing, and I want to be
Yeah.
different. I don't want to be the same as those guys. I don't want to be the guy that just works out without my shirt because I have the biggest muscles. you know, yeah. So I feel like there's you also have to be different.
Hmm.
Because people, you have to show your value. People want to know why you're trying to show them something. Why are you trying to get them to buy something? You have to show them the value in it. Like,
Yeah.
and that's for anything. That's literally for anything.
Man, it's pretty remarkable. Again, I say you're a 21-year-old speaking like a 75-year-old.
Thank you.
And it's just like a wealth of knowledge and wisdom, and very important, especially for young folks who see on social media, because even on my feed or anyone else's, and it's not just because we're following them, but just the ads or like the hashtag, if you're following
Yeah,
hashtags, it's a lot of it is like, guys with muscles, shirts off, or girls with
exactly.
the yoga pants on and things like that. And I understand the image that they're selling, and they're promoting, and they might get a lot of likes, but what are you truly bringing value to? What is that
Exactly.
representing? As a
Yeah,
as a person looking on there, looking for help or looking for advice, like what does that do or help them with?
exactly.
So that's something that you want to be cognizant of if you're just starting out, and you really want to not compromise your brand, your message, your integrity to your or your fans, or your people who follow you. If they're coming to you for a certain content or certain message, certain trust, you really want to make sure that you hold on to that, and do right by the followers. So
Yeah,
I think that's
exactly.
another thing. Hmm.
Yeah, because I used to always care about how many followers I had. Like for
Hmm.
example, I had 1,500 followers, and I was stuck at 1,500 followers for like a year, and
Hmm.
I just hit 1,600 followers just
There you
like
go. Let's go.
last week. Right? Yeah, but I just stopped caring about it because I was like, like I don't care if nobody wants to follow me, it's fine. But
Mhm.
if I'm bringing the people that that are still following me value, then like
Yeah.
that's all that matters to me. Like
Yeah.
that's literally all that matters. It's not about the followers. Like it'll come. You just have to put in the work. You just
Yeah.
have to put in the work.
That's so amazing you speak to that, because I think there's a book where it talks about true like 50 fans or something like that. Like if
Yeah,
you have the absolute dying fans that really love you, really love your message, really trust in your words, they will buy all your stuff. And honestly,
yeah,
you can get all your revenue from there. And I'm not saying use them for money or anything like that, but
right.
the point is that the number is not the most important thing. Your content, your message, who you are as a person, that does speak through the numbers, through social media. And one another important thing I want to ask you about is because when you get to this massive monster that is so-called social media, there are haters, there are a lot of
Yeah,
negativity. So as a young person, as a old person who's starting out, how do you combat that? How do you mentally decipher the negative from good and all those things? Because if you don't know how to do it, it can consume you and it can
Yeah.
really boot you off social media because you can get discouraged and things like that. So what do you advise them on doing?
So it's happened to me before. You know, somebody commented one time on one of my videos and was like bashed me for some reason, like randomly, and
Hmm.
I didn't know why, but you know, it kind of hit me. I was like, you know, I'm working hard to put out this content, and then
Yeah.
you're telling me I'm doing something like wrong or just like cursing me out or something like that. But then I realized like this person is like I think we were talking about this earlier. Like this
Yeah.
person is probably sitting at their desk right now, like
Yep.
just not doing anything with their life,
Hmm.
or it could be somebody that's doing something with their life. You never know who it is,
Hmm.
but they're not you probably won't ever meet that person ever. You probably won't ever have an encounter with that person unless you decide to. But I would say if they are trying to give you some type of value, of course, take that into consideration and try and
Hmm.
learn from it. But if it's somebody being, just negative towards you, I would say just look at it, recognize that there are people that are going to try and take you down. Use that as motivation to lift
Hmm.
yourself up and keep going. You
Yeah.
have to, because you're going to have haters, you're going to have people that see you working towards your goal, that you're actually progressing, and they're going to hate on you because they're not in the position that you're at. So take that into consideration and just use it as motivation, and don't brag about having haters, because you know how people are. They have. I'm like, oh, I hate. I have haters, this and that. Like don't do that.
Yeah. I would highly advise not to wear like socks that says "I love my haters" or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah,
yeah, or have a
I
shirt.
wouldn't advise that.
Exactly.
But your points are all valid. My thing also would be just take a step back and just look it for what it is. It's a hateful comment that it has no basis of anywhere, and you don't even know them.
Exactly.
My
Exactly.
God, they could be a robot. That
It could
just
be a robot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it could be whatever. But like a lot of people are they when they get on Twitter, they're emotionally fueled. They're ready to just spit off hate most of the
Yep.
times. So you got to understand that. So when you go on there, expect some hate, but that's okay. They really don't know you or at all. They
Exactly.
don't really mean anything by it. So it really gets at you if you let it to get to you. So and understand that really get the criticism or critiques from your family, your families, your friends, people who really love you and support you, and have good good critiques. Hey, maybe you should work on this, and those are some positive feedback that you should take into consideration. But
Right.
from social media, that just have hateful comments, hateful things that have no basis, just leave it
Yeah.
in the trash. Like, I mean, you don't have to even be concerned about him. But I think I wanted to address that because it's a very everyone who gets on social media, they will come into that, even if they're not a content creator. If you're just a normal person just using social media as a personal outlet, they will face criticism, some negative
Yeah.
comments. So no one is safe from these
No
comments,
one.
from this hate. So embrace it and use it as motivation, as you said.
Yeah.
But any other things that you advise them on when they start, or did we do a good job covering all those good things?
Yeah, I think so. And then I would also just go back to what we talked about with, parents, because I think one of the
Right.
main things is parents wanting to, have a life planned out for their kids. Um, so, like speaking directly to parents, I would say just you need to stop doing that. You need to let your child figure out what they love to do, and if they have something that they love to do, support them through that.
Yeah.
Um, of course, if it's something negative, then that's a
Right.
whole different story. But for most children, they have something positive. Some of them have talents. Not a lot of things have to be about sports or school. Being a straight A student. It's about there are other things that you can do in this lifetime. Like, we are human beings. We have so many different ways to express ourselves. Like, and I feel like um, parents like to hold that back from their children,
Yep.
which is not good. Because then it leaves them in an emotional distress.
Hmm.
You know, they feel like they're trapped somewhere where they don't want to be. And I felt that way, but I told myself, to keep going, and I just, of course I had to, disobey my parents and,
Right.
do, but I follow my dreams, and that's all I'm happy about at the end of the day.
I'm so glad that we hit on that because and we make sure we hit on that because I think anyone who's starting, especially for the younger generation, it's something that they face with the parents. And I'm not trying to bash any parents or anything like that. I know they have
Yeah,
good intentions. They want their child to succeed. I understand. But as the times change, as we have more resources, this thing called internet, social media, people are making their dreams come true. I mean, shoot, look at Logan Ryan. He's getting money to pay, fight fighters and stuff like that. He's
exactly.
making money, and you can call him whatever you want, but he's making money and living the life that he wants. And
Yeah,
there's power to that. And if they want to live however they want, that's fine by me. But the point is that you have this great resource, and the parents have to understand that you can make money gaming. I mean, how crazy is that? You can make
I know,
money.
right?
Yeah, you can make money filming yourself eat a lot of food. I mean, how crazy is that concept?
Exactly.
So it's not like you have to go sweep the chimney to make a couple cents anymore. You can make
Right.
money
You can.
doing amazing, crazy stuff, stunts, doing sports challenges, things like that. So you have to embrace yourself to your child's dreams and aspirations and be open to it and fully support them. I 100% understand there. But as a parent, you love unconditionally and support unconditionally. But as you said, of course, the positive things. But again, as a child's perspective, I think there has to be good communication and dialogue and be able to understand what you want to do, truly go after it, and communicate that with your parents in a healthy, respectful way, of course.
Yep.
But
100%.
yeah, but what you said, I think it's very important, and I think that's a lot of kids growing up now. They go through that, and I'm a little bit hypocrite because I don't understand the TikTok thing, and I'm fairly young,
Yeah.
but I don't get the TikTok thing, but I have to get open to it as well. But
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. TikTok. I mean, since that started, I mean, there's like so many people that have become popular off of that.
yeah,
I'm still not like. It's hard for me to post on there, like, because it's it's an addictive app. It's very
yes,
addictive. So
yeah.
I kind of like stay away from it, because
Hmm.
you will literally just start scrolling through that thing like for hours, and you won't even realize it. So
Yeah.
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty, yeah, the concept of it is that you literally have like couple seconds of video. Like it has to
Hmm.
be funny, it has to be like it just has to get to the point, and then you scroll like up or
Exactly.
like bottom or up and
Yeah.
down, and then you just go to the next one. And it's like,
Exactly.
to me, I see that as like dopamine hits like right after another. It's just like
Yep.
10 seconds of like the most funny captured in one video, and then the next one, and you can slide or you can scroll for days.
Yep.
So it's
Because
pretty
it's
remarkable.
nonstop.
Yeah, it is. So
Nonstop.
it's very hard for this generation. I feel bad for them in a sense because it's just how do you get away from social media? It's becoming their life now.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
like, since they're so young, that's all they're becoming attached to. And it's just like video games too.
Yeah.
Me and my girlfriend were actually talking about that. Like, um with video games, like, kids become attached to that. Like, they will literally do nothing
Yeah.
all day, every day, and just play video games. Like, it's
Mhm.
it's an addiction. So
Yeah, I mean, there were actually times where kids would go outside and play tag and play football in the
yeah,
backyard, but it's not a lot of that going on. It's pretty,
at
yeah,
all.
it's pretty remarkable to see that. But times change, things like that
Hmm.
happen. But I think people need to. Well, I mean, I think people need to go outside, adults or young, and get some sunlight and things like that. But I don't want to take too much of your time. I feel like we went way over. Thank you so much for making episode number 4 amazing. Where can people find you to get amazing motivational workout content and amazing personal training help as well?
Yeah, I'd definitely say my Instagram is where I'm most active right now. Motivation Made Fitness. Um, I did want to start, like, because I haven't posted on my YouTube channel in about a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
But I did want to start getting back on there, but I'm not sure when, but
Mm-hmm.
it'll happen.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yep. So motivation made fitness. Yep.
Yeah. Hey,
Basically on
say that
everything.
again. Say that again. Make sure people hear you.
Yeah. Motivation made fitness. Yep.
Perfect. Perfect. Hey, I appreciate your time, buddy. Thank you for coming on to the podcast. I look forward to having you on again. And thank you so much for coming on, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no, thank you, man. We're gonna get back on here again for sure.
Awesome. All right. That's it for episode number 4. Thank you, guys.